Okay, taking a look at your work here, you did copy the equation down right, you did copy your constraint down right, you did do the Lagrange step right, you did do your first derivative right with respect to x, now your derivative with respect to y, you made a mistake. Just be careful. The derivative of this term with respect to y is x. Now, some students need to distribute first their lambda, so that would be 3 lambda minus x squared lambda minus y lambda. So that way when you take your derivative with respect to y, that term's 0, that term's 0, but here you're left with negative lambda. You have positive. So make that a negative, and that should fix that up. Now the derivative with respect to lambda, if you missed that, I make fun of you, only because it's always the constraint function. You got that right. So then, let's keep checking here. So now, where did you go? Let me pause your video and see if I can figure out what you did. Arrows would be helpful, telling me where to go next on your paper. Okay, so now I think where you went with this, you took this equation down to here, solved for lambda, which is what I recommend. Then you took your other equation. Now, me personally, I just would have taken lambda, subbed it in right there, making this x minus 2y, but it really would have been plus 2y because you had your sign error there. But and then now I have one equation with x and y. And then I had another equation right here with x and y. So I'd pop those since, oh, actually it's not linear, so I can't do that. But so now I do substitution. Perfect, that's fine. So use x equals, fine. You just have the sign error there. So then in this equation here, everywhere I have an x, I'm going to sub that in. And then now you're going to have an equation in terms of y. It's going to be quadratic. I'm trying to see where you went with that. I don't, maybe it's right here. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, you've got generally the right idea. So here you got 0 equals 3 minus 2y squared minus y. That's what I'm seeing from this. When you take your x, sub it into here, that's what you'd get. Again, you have the sign error, but just flip the sign. So then this gives you the quadratic of negative 3 minus 4y squared minus y. So therefore we're ending up with 0 equals negative 4y squared minus y plus 3. So solve that using quadratic equation, quadratic formula using complete and square, whatever you like. Factoring if you see it. But remember, you're going to have to flip that sign from here. So therefore, instead of minus, that's a plus, that's a minus. That makes that a plus. So therefore, when you sub it in, that's a plus. So therefore, that's going to be a minus. So therefore, that's a minus. Actually, it doesn't matter because that minus is going to get squared, and it becomes positive anyway. So it looks like it would be the same thing. So you solve this for y any which way you want, and you should be on the right track. So let's keep moving. So now I'm looking at your work. And I'm not sure where this 84 came from. That seems a little mathematical to me. So whatever happened here, I don't know. The idea is you have a system of equations. You have 3 unknowns and you have 3 equations, so you're going to solve them using our chapter 3 techniques. You solve for a variable, sub it into one of the equations. Then now that you have it subbed in, now we have another equation, so take that, sub it into the 3rd equation, and hopefully that gets you to where you need to be. Do note this is going to have 2 answers because it is quadratic, so you're going to have y equals plus or minus. So then looked like then once you had a y value, you then subbed it back in and got your x values, and then so it looked like you were doing that right. So just note you're going to have 2 y values, so you're going to get 2 x values, which means you're then going to get 2 z values when you sub it back into your original equation, and you have to figure out which one's the max, which one's the min. And remember, that's really easy. To figure out what's the max, you just look for the bigger z. That's the max. Okay, hope that helps.